Hi, I'm Rob, and today we're at the Crown Inn in Bishops Waltham.
We're actually starting from the back of the pub, which is a bit confusing because that busy road there is a bypass built in 1971, which I'll tell you more about later. So this is the back of the pub. It's 16th century and probably most famous for putting up 200 French sailors, including Admiral Villeneuve. There's more on the blue plaque here. So it says he's the French commander-in-chief, and he was captured at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. More about the pub history shortly, but we come out the back of the pub and we're going to turn left along the busy Bishops Waltham bypass, or you wouldn't think of the bypass. And you basically walk round the side of the pub and then turn left onto what was once the main road through the village. The Crown was well known for cockfighting in years gone by, and also the lesser known 1884 beer riots. Apparently, Mr. Postman, a local curate decided to contest the licensing laws, and the locals, a feisty bunch, this Bishops Waltham bunch, they took exception to that and rioted basically. They rioted and they got the curate and took him about a quarter of a mile, slightly less than that, down on the Bishop's fishponds, and ceremoniously or unceremoniously threw him in. Anyway, we're now going to turn right at the clock up the high street. As you can see, much of the town centre is Georgian. Very nice quaint town centre, lots of local shops. And it was granted a charter by Queen Elizabeth in 1602 for 2 markets a year, or 2 fairs a year. Those carried on till about the 19th century, and they phased out in favour of the Botley market. At the top of the high street, we're going to turn right into Bank Street. Now, Bank Street was formerly known as French Street. Now, it's called Bank Street after Gunner's Bank, that opened in the mid-1800s. And Gunner's Bank is famous for the fact that it was the last bank in England, private bank in England, to print its own banknotes. And it didn't close until 1953 when it became a Barclays. Anyway, at St Peter's House we are going to turn left up St Peter's Street. Now, this building, believe it or not, was once a telephone exchange. You wouldn't know it from looking at it, but I know it because my niece used to live there. Or perhaps there are a couple of clues. And of course they have the bunch of grapes on the right hand side. The reason it's called St Peter's Street becomes blatantly obvious very, very shortly. Blessed are the dead. St Peter's Church is a 15th century church mainly. Lots of later additions through the years, including the use of some stone from the Bishop's Palace that you'll see later to build part of it. It's on the site of an original 12th century church, Norman in design, and it's Grade 2 listed. Unlike a lot of churches, it's not locked, it's open for the public to come in. Lovely vaulted ceilings. And proper wooden pews. Ah, the saviour of the looks of many a church, wooden pews. Bit of a traditionalist, me. There's a font here, I'm not sure if that's the original 12th century one that was dug up out in the churchyard many years ago. It looks like it could be 12th century font on a modern plinth. On leaving the church, take the path alongside, come out through the gate over there. And we turn left and follow the main road back out of town.
Now you remember I said that this lot in Bishops Waltham were a feisty lot? Somewhere around here is Bunker Hill. I've got no idea where it is. I'm not local enough to have that local knowledge, and it's not on the map. But there was a Battle of Bunker Hill. Not the American Battle of Bunker Hill, totally different. This Battle of Bunker Hill was about a local chappie that donated money and built a house which was to become an infirmary for the town. Now, Prince Leopold came to open it, and a statue of the Prince Consort, which would have been Prince Albert, because this was the mid-1800s, was erected. Unfortunately, said benefactor had financial difficulties. The house was repossessed, and the chap that repossessed it wanted to keep everything, the house and the statue and everything else, and the inhabitants of the village got up in arms, and again there was another riot. Lots of riots in Bishops Waltham. It worked, because the statue was saved, and it now stands somewhere in Southampton. So I don't know where in Southampton it is, so if you know where a statue of Prince Albert is in Southampton that came from Bishops Waltham, then do put a note on the comments. So there you go, feisty lot. Now, why did I mention the Battle of Bunker Hill? Well, because I'm on a hill. I have no idea if this is Bunker Hill or what hill it is. I know there's Vernon Hill round here. But anyway, I thought I'd mention it here. Nice little message on the road. So we're going to do a staggered right and then a left to cross over the Corhampton Road and head down Beaches Hill. Now, a lot of Bishops Waltham is quite wet. It's because the chalk of the South Downs makes the clay of the Hampshire basin and forms springs. Most of the springs are over the other side of town in a place called the Moors, and that coincidentally is the birthplace of the River Hamble. So we've turned left off of the road. Now it looks like a private drive, which it sort of is and it isn't, but it's where we find the footpath, so we just continue along till we see it. In actual fact, it's a little lane, which is good for this time of year. No mud underfoot. And here on the left is the vineyard. Vineyards are really up and coming in Hampshire. There's many vineyards. Hambledon, Wickham. This one, which I think is Northwood. Anyway, carry straight on up the lane. And at the Northbrook water treatment works, the path carries on as a gravel and mud path to the left. A very pleasant path this, of the vineyard on one side, and lovely tree line
raising up the hill. At the corner of the vineyard we come to a T-junction of paths, and we're going to turn left. Around we go. Again, another good gravel path. So we're on the new town side of town now. Well, that's a bit further down, and that side is famous for terracotta pots and clay bricks. Blanchard's bricks were used quite a lot in the area. Built a lot of the railway bridges on the branch line, and lots of local things. I think there's a road called Claylands Road, which sort of pertains to a rough area of where the brickworks were. I think Elliott's took them over in latter years. So at the end of the bridleway we're going to cross the road and continue along Morley Drive, and turning right at the bottom. And turning right at the concrete bollard, and then we're going to turn left along the tarmac path. The signage isn't very good here, so watch the video wow and follow your nose. We come out Pondside Lane, right opposite the Sainsbury's garage on the main road, and we're going to cross the road, turn left on the pavement to walk this way. Here we are back at Station Roundabout, and you've got a choice now. This is one of my figure of 8 walks, so if you want to go for a very, very short walk, then you can go left back up to the pub along the main road, or if you're going to do a slightly longer walk, then you follow me up Victoria Road, and we'll do the top half of the figure of 8. Now when we reach the old school we're going to turn left into Albert Road. And literally just past the school on the right is the footpath we're looking for. It's the old school playground, and we continue forward following the footpath. We continue down the path, and this has probably changed a lot for some of you that might be local. All these houses are brand spanky new. So always fun on a new development, but there's a gate with a sign. That's a good sign. So we follow the footpath in the direction of the yellow arrow. Past all the building work. Come out from the development at Southside Farm, and we've got a couple of styles to negotiate. We're heading down towards Tangier Farm, and we're going to pick up the Pilgrims Trail just this side of it. We cross another stile, which I'm stood on, and you can see the sign to the right for the Pilgrims Trail footpath, pointing off down here, past these cows. Now the cow does have a couple of calves, so I'm going to go by as close to the fence and quietly as possible. Now it's getting to that time of year when you definitely need walking boots or welly boots on some walks, and oh, this is one of them. I don't know where Trev is. Well, I do, he's working. But this is just his kind of walk. There'd be all sorts of ballet going on if he had to get through here in his trainers. And now that I'm through the wet bit, I can talk a little more about the Pilgrims Trail. Pilgrims Trail is 155 miles long. It stretches from Winchester Cathedral all the way to Mont Saint-Michel in Normandy. You can cheat a bit because you get the ferry from Portsmouth, but even so, that's quite a long distance hike. This isn't the wettest bit. The wettest bit, of course, is at Mont Saint-Michel if the tide is in. Think about it. So this is one of the many little streams that feeds into the Hamble River, which eventually exits out onto Southampton Water at Hamble Point. You can see what a Hamble River is a horrible brown colour after a storm. That's because much of its length it travels through the clay lands of Hampshire and picks up all that mud. You can certainly tell when it's been raining a lot. The Hamble certainly isn't one of Hampshire's clear chalk streams, as you can see. I crossed under the pylons, so just keep trudging along. When you reach the little bridge, you go left through this kissing gate up into the small woodland. So we've come through the gate into little woodland. There's a corrugated iron barn by the looks of it over there. We're going to follow the Allen King Way. And just follow the path on round to the left. We're past Brooklands Farm on our left. And follow the farm track. And a very nice shepherd's hut. I tell a lie, that was Riverview Farm. Either way, we still continue to follow the farm track away from the farm.
Jeff in the warehouse doesn't speak English. Jeff Boss in the warehouse, yeah.
When you come to the tarmac track, we follow it round to the left, and I seem to have caught up with a load of dog walkers. We're not going to touch or feed the horses. I think there's something wrong with these horses. They're a bit woolly. At this point we're going to go on to the Bishops Waltham branch line. This is the only walkable part of it. The rest of it is carried on through those bushes, taken up by farmers' fields. Bridges have been taken down, so not much of it walkable now. Bishops Waltham branch line, it opened in 1863 and it connected Botley with Bishops Waltham. Only a short line, little short branch line. It carried mainly your bricks and your tiles, farm produce and animals, strawberries and things from Botley up this way. It closed to passenger traffic in about 1932 and then completely closed under beaching in 1962. Now you can really tell you're up on a railway embankment. You're up high, looking down on both sides. Fields on that side. Now, Hampshire Countryside Services are really good at turning the many disused branch lines in Hampshire into walking and cycling trails. And yeah, they've done a fine old job of this as well. Along the track on the right hand side you can see the original railway fencing running almost the entire length. And we're in a lovely deep cutting now as we make our final approach to Bishops Waltham. And here we are back at the level crossing gates. The reason the station roundabout is called the station roundabout is because the station was there until 1965 when it was demolished, and in 1971 the bypass around Bishops Waltham was built, which is this two-lane road that is the sort of modern main road now. It just saved traffic going through the town centre. Anyway, we're going to turn right here off the roundabout. First right after you come out of the railway. And on the left here is one of the Bishop of Winchester's fish ponds. And it was a fish pond for the Bishop's Palace, which you can see in the background. Now this is the old Abbey Mill, and for years there was a business site around the mill, but it's shuttered off now. It's been shuttered off for donkey's years now. I really don't know what they want to build there. Whether that was going to be the site of the Sainsbury's they were going to build there, I don't know, but nothing's happened. Anyway, walking on forward, there's lots of gates that go into fishing platforms where you can purchase fishing permits. This is the ruin of the Bishop's Palace, and we're going to go to the top of this road here and have a look inside. Here's the entrance. It's English heritage, as you see, free to enter. Just before we go in, I'm just going to pop over the road to see the second Bishop's Pond. This is the North Pond, or the Great Pond, and this was created by the Bishop of Winchester, who dammed the stream in the valley here to make a pond for his fish. And I'm guessing this is the pond that the poor curate was dumped in during the beer riot. This is quite closest to the pub. And there's some photographs of the station I was telling you about, the roundabout.
This is Bishops Waltham Palace. Now Bishops Waltham Palace, like many things in Hampshire, was built by Henri de Blois, who was the Bishop of Winchester in the 12th century. Now, Bishops Waltham was a royalist stronghold, and in 1644 it was besieged for 3 days by the parliamentary forces. So a lot of damage was done to it then. You can't blame Henry VIII for this ruin. You can blame him for most ruins around, but this is actually Oliver Cromwell. Because of the resistance put up by the royalist forces here, in 1645 he ordered his troops to pull the place down and wreck it. And that's what you can see English heritage trying to preserve now, the wreckage of this former glorious Bishop's Palace.
As you can see, English heritage are spending a lot of money to stabilise the ruins and make them safe, or keep them safe, for you and I to visit. So you can see there would have been plenty of room for those 200 royalist troops while they were besieged here. Quite substantial grounds it sits on. As you can see, so typical of this part of Hampshire, well, lots of parts of Hampshire actually, anywhere where there's chalk, buildings have got flint napping, or they are made of flint napping. You can see these pieces of chiselled out flint, just used to build the walls. And if you can see that, that is razor sharp. So be very, very careful when picking up flint. It can be literally razor sharp, which is of course why Stone Age man in this area would have used it for axes and arrowheads and so on and such like. So this is the brew house and the bake house. Would have been a lovely place to be. Nice pint of beer and a slice of cake. So we're going to leave the site by this slightly more modern building to cross over the bridge and head back to the pub. I think this park is open 10 till 6 PM, so time you walk right.
So here we are, we're back at the Crown again. We've done roughly 4 miles. Very interesting walk, lots of history, lots of interest, lovely quaint town, lovely church. Thoroughly recommend this one. I'm going in the pub for a drink in a bit. But if you like the walk, then please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you on the next one. Let's take a look at the pub.
So, lovely low beams, fitting of its age.
Sorry? Not being paid. They had all the kit.